But then you add to that a mix of mass migration of people who are now exclusively moving to enclaves. They don't need to assimilate whatsoever with the rest of Australians, whether it be white people or people like me. They don't even need to assimilate with me. Like, I literally have no relationships with the new group of, South Asian migrants, whether they're Sri Lankan or not, that are coming here, because a lot of them are not assimilating into Australian culture in the same way. Like, they have their own stuff. They have their own shops. They have their own community areas. And people might be like, well, that's great. They're building businesses. They're doing all these things. And I get that from an economic point of view, whatever, that's great. But from a nation's identity point of view, for people to actually exist as a community, to respect each other, to understand values and have a shared cultural values and identity, that is not happening. People are having separate lives in Australia. Immigrants are having separate existences. That's bound to create clashes in the future. And it's bound to create a situation like what we're seeing in the UK, because you have a lot of leeway given also to the migrant groups, right? I'm in a privileged class. Like, I understand I actually have this skin color today is somewhat of a privilege. If I wanted to be a victim and, live a life of victimhood, I could not, work and go to Centrelink and just be a little victim, smooch off the system and blame white people and live that type of life. I don't do that. And again, there's many migrants that don't do that. But the new people that are coming into this country are shown from the very start that this is actually how you need to do it. You need to rot the system. Don't respect these people. Definitely don't respect Australia. Don't respect white culture. They don't even respect themselves. You can take everything that you want to do. Do anything you want to do. Do your little scams. Live the same way that you lived overseas. Don't worry about the prevailing Judeo-Christian values and the things which have built this country. Don't forget all of those things and do exactly what you did overseas. Do it here. And that's why we have all these kind of crazy crime. That's why we have these issues with social cohesion today, because these people are not assimilating. And, even to me, I think I'm Australian. Even to me, these people are like foreigners. Like, who are these people? Like, that's kind of how I see some people as well. Like, what are they doing here, in the sense of not why are they here in the country? Like, what are they trying to achieve here? Like, do they want to be a part of Australia, or do they want to create their own little communities and, little enclaves, and that's it? Like, they want to have a separation. And it feels like that. And if I feel like that, I definitely understand that, for white Australians, for instance, people who do descend from the settlers and onwards, it must be a totally even double or triple that feeling that I have as an individual. So I get it. I completely get it. I understand the mass immigration issue. I understand the fact that people are worried about the loss of Australian identity and Australian culture. And I understand people want to raise their voices around it. And I understand that people don't want to end up like the UK. I do not want to end up like the UK. And what happens is, when we don't have a dominant prevailing identity or a culture that's based on traditionally, well, what I would say is Western identity, when you don't have that, well, then these other groups, whether they want to on purpose or not, they will dominate. They will fill the vacuum. They will run for politics. They will, run for councils. They will get into parliaments. They'll get in, and I'm saying again, that's a part of the process. I'm not saying anything's wrong with doing these things. Democracy, right? This is what we're doing. But when they do all those things, and their thought and their mind frame is not about everyone else in the country, and it's not about Australia first, and it's not about helping all of us as one and looking at the country as one, and about respecting the flag and understanding that we need to have this cultural identity, when it's not any of those things, then yeah, it's a problem. It's actually a problem, because then you do have, issues where you do end up with people in power that just look after their communities, right? These are things that are bound to happen in Australia, like we're seeing in other countries, especially the UK. And then you do have, situations where it could turn into riots. It could turn into violence on the streets and other issues like this. So that's kind of my rant about mass immigration. I think it's a massive problem. I personally, I look at Australia and I love Australia. I love living here. I love being, Australian. I love this country. But, I do feel like, even myself, I feel like I'm being let down by people in power when they don't understand what they're doing in relation to immigration.